Welcome to Sentimental Simmer, a podcast made for emotionally attached simmers and storytellers with wild imaginations. I'm your host, Gloria, and I run Yellow Llama Co., a planner shop made to help simmers play with purpose. Every week, I talk all about things sim life planning, storytelling, and memory keeping. I'll also brainstorm new ways to obsess over our pixel people, whether they be in The Sims or another life sim game. And now let's get into it. Today's episode is going to be all about the most important decision you'll ever make for your family legacy, or one of the most important ones, and that is which heir to choose to continue the family line. The family heir will be the main character for many sim sessions to come and shape the trajectory and genetics of your legacy, so you want to make the right decision. Or you can let fate decide, which is actually the most common route to go. Whichever sim is born first wins the title of the heir. If you play a patriarchy or a matriarchy, you may also only choose heirs of a certain gender. My heirs have traditionally usually been the firstborn or the sim I get the most attached to during their childhood. I like how the randomness of choosing the firstborn makes their predetermined path to carry on the family legacy feel more like destiny, though. It forces me to play different storylines as well. For example, I usually don't play male sims for some reason, but sometimes the firstborn will be a guy. It forces me to play differently than I usually would. The firstborn isn't always the best looking either or have the best traits, which is maybe some things I would also gravitate more towards. But in this case, if it's the firstborn, then I'm basically forced to play with a sim with maybe not so easy traits or that doesn't look so great. And yeah, I could create some storytelling out of that. As the watcher, how else can you help fate find your sim? Or maybe you want your sims to have some sort of control over their fate. We all know being the spare sucks, so your sims might know that too, and why not give them the chance to earn the title of heir? I've got some fun ways to choose your family heir that add story, help you explore new ways to play, and are just outright fun. They build off of the succession laws from the Sims 4 Legacy Challenge and explore how the choice you make can tie into your legacy family's story. So first, and in line with some episodes before that we've had in regards to how to add meaning to your story and have a certain vision, certain features of a sim might be considered as criteria to choose an heir. It could be for aesthetic reasons or so that the heir fits the family legacy path. So these traits could be, for example, in The Sims 3, you have the trait Pyromaniac, which is basically a sim that's immune to fire. That is inherited or a trait that you win or get if you're a firefighter, but you can also cheat that trait. How about having a family of trailblazers, literally, with that trait? Or you could have evil or mean sims. That could be an important trait for the family if they're like criminals, or if they, really care about the earth and sustainability. They could be eco-friendly and vegetarian, or, you could have a family of thieves with a kleptomaniac trait, or you could have, sim family be adventurous, artistic. They could be a family of ranchers. These are various traits that are important criteria to choose the next heir because you want that family to consistently have those values or that personality or those traits. There are also physical attributes that a sim can have. For example, they can have a certain hair and eye color. So maybe you want it to be clear already when looking at a sim which family they belong to. So they have all black hair, or they have all green eyes, or maybe like a purple eyes or something like that. You can have like any eye color in the sims. Maybe they're super fit. Maybe they are known for a particular nose or eye shape. Maybe they have like a chin cleft or, certain ear size or all of those things that gives them a really distinguished look amongst the townies. Of course, they could also be a certain occult type. Maybe they're vampires, aliens, werewolves, plant sims. I think in The Sims 2, I'm not sure if you could be a plant sim forever, but I think in one of the games, you're like temporarily a plant sim. But yeah, there are different occults depending on which version of The Sims you're playing, and those could be important features that an heir must have and must carry to be able to continue the legacy. You could also say, okay, you know what? I want my heir to prove their value, and I want them to show the most devotion to the family legacy goals, to the legacy family path, so to say. And so instead of choosing the heir already at childhood, you could choose the heir later in life so that they've actually had a chance to to prove their worth and how devoted they are to their goals. And so you can wait until they're adults and actually have that capacity. By that time, depending on what's important to the family, they need to have a high horse riding skill, for example, if they want to take over the family ranch. They need to have a high logic skill if, knowledge is important to the family. Or maybe there is a family winery that could be taken over, so they need to be good in nectar making. Or it's a family of witches, and so like a good knowledge, solid skills on alchemy and magic is important. You could also choose an heir based off of the progress that they've made with their aspiration, or in the Sims 3, it's lifetime wish. So in the Sims 4, you have eco-innovator or the musical genius. So those are all things that could maybe be related to the family vision. Or in The Sims 3, you have Master Thief as a lifetime wish. And so there it's just important to be really high in the criminal path of thief. Or you could do the possession is 9/10 of the law lifetime wish, which is all about being in possession of 50 grand worth of stolen goods, which I think would be pretty fun. You could have the celebrity psychic lifetime wish, which is basically the scam artist path of the fortune teller career. And so imagine if you had like a family, like a legacy of psychics, but they're like scam artists. That could make like for interesting story. Another criteria you could set on the heir is their career level. Like we discussed in the episode before, for a particular founder, it may have been important to them that the kin has ambitions and is strong in law, medicine, or science career. And so you could have those be important. So how far this, like all kids are going to be in law, and whichever kid's gotten the furthest is the one that gets to be the heir. Supernatural domination, again, we had that in the last episode, but here, concrete in terms of which heir to choose, it's the heir that has converted the most Sims into vampires. Another way you can choose an heir is based off of relationships and their network. So perhaps elders are really important in this family legacy, so they have an important role. They're held in high regard. And so the heir or a sim can only be heir if they have a really good relationship with the elders, and they have to have the best relationship. Or perhaps the founder wants to guarantee that their legacy will go on and won't just like die out. So they will only choose the heir that has a partner or is married. Perhaps only Sims with a lot of friends can become heir because influence is important to the family. Another possibility, and probably one of the most funnest ways to figure out which one's going to be the heir, is to have a competition, to have the siblings duke it out, basically. They could have a physical fight. They could have a magical fight. They could spar with some martial arts in The Sims 3. They could play a game of rock, paper, scissors. And they could have a dance battle in The Sims 4, where I don't think a sim can officially actually win the battle. I don't know, I haven't played that in a while. But you could roll the dice on which one actually won. But if you want to so you do that part, you can play pretend of who actually won with a dice roll. But you can have them do a dance battle, or you can have them play a game of chess. Again, I'm not quite 100% sure if a sim actually can win the game. I assume so. So you could make them play a game of chess and see which sibling wins. Or you can have them enter, each one of them has to enter a competition, for example, a baking contest, or they have to submit their pumpkin at the Finchwick Fair, and the one that wins is the heir, or the sim that becomes heir. You could also have a game of survival of the fittest. Maybe the strongest sim, but I think chance is playing more of a role here. You can see which of the children lasts the longest in the cold. Or my personal favorite, last sim swimming. You can make them go into a pool, remove the ladder, or just make sure they don't leave, like building a wall around the pool, and just seeing which of the siblings lasts longest. If you have 5 kids, this could take a while, but hey, I'm not judging any family's path, okay? If that's your jam, you do you, that's fine. I think that's, in that case, if it's a family of criminals, it seems like a legitimate way to make that decision. I think those are all fun ways to make that decision of who's actually going to pass on the family legacy. Again, it could be important for the storyline that it's the heir that fits the closest to the actual vision of the family, talking about legacy family storylines and paths in the last episode. You can make the sim earn their heir role and their title. You could make them have a certain network, a certain connection, relationships that are important to make that choice. You can make them fight for it. Or you could just let destiny do its thing and see who can swim the longest. You could obviously just revert to the classic firstborn rule, call it a day. That's always good as well. But yeah, I hope I could give some inspiration on other ways you can make that choice, because it's pretty important. That sim is going to form and shape the way the family will be moving forward genetically, as well as, if the family vision is upheld or changes completely, which you might want. In the next episode, we're going to talk about another important choice, possibly the second most important choice you're going to be making every generation, and that is who will partner up with your heir to start, making babies and continuing that family. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, I welcome you to join the Yellow Llama Club. You can join at yellowllamaco.com/community. You'll find all the information there to join our cozy little community on Heartbeat to talk more about our Sims and share stories and inspiration. Until then, happy simming!